While Australians may be exempt, the President's immigration order is sparking extraordinary opposition, with several lawsuits filed in US courts and some of the world's biggest companies joining the global outcry. The Civil Liberties Union, which is behind one lawsuit, has broken its fundraising records in raising more than $24 million in a single weekend to fight the ban. Anne Barker has our report.
It began with protests on American streets. Now the fight against Donald Trump's immigration ban has spread to the courts, boardrooms and even US diplomatic missions around the world. The state of Washington is the first to announce legal action against Donald Trump's administration.
I'm filing a lawsuit today in federal court against President Trump, the Federal Department of Homeland Security, and high-ranking Trump administration officials. It seeks to have key provisions of that executive order declared illegal and unconstitutional. In other words, if successful, this would have the effect of invalidating the president's unlawful action nationwide.
Washington's Attorney General Bob Ferguson is one of 16 state attorneys general who've released a joint statement slamming the immigration ban as un-American and unlawful.
We are a country based on the rule of law, and in a courtroom, it is not the loudest voice that prevails. It's the Constitution. That's why we're a nation of laws. And in our view, the president is not adhering to the Constitution.
In a separate case, the Civil Liberties Union has filed a lawsuit in Virginia on behalf of at least 20 Muslims who live in the US. Its national litigation director is Lena Masri.
The untold story behind the Muslim exclusion ban is that it initiates the expulsion of Muslims that are lawfully residing in the United States. Muslims fleeing persecution in their home countries will be forced to return, despite the fact that they may be likely to be tortured, persecuted, or even executed.
Now, some of the world's biggest companies are joining the fight, saying the immigration ban is bad for business. Apple's CEO Tim Cook, in a memo to staff, said the company would not exist without immigration. Google says the ban would make it harder to hire skilled workers from outside the US. Amazon says it's looking at other legal options to challenge the ban, and the heads of eBay, Netflix, Coca-Cola, Etsy, Ford, General Electric and Goldman Sachs have all spoken out against the order. Political scientist Larry Sabato says the level of protest against such a new presidency is unprecedented.
We've never had this before. It usually takes 6 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years for the level of animosity toward a new president to build to the point where there are widespread demonstrations. But Trump has been in just little over a week.
For a third day, Donald Trump has defended the ban, tweeting, "There's nothing nice about searching for terrorists before they can enter the country. This was a big part of my campaign. Study the world." And he defended the timing of the order, saying if the ban were announced with a 1-week notice, the bad would rush into our country during that week. A lot of bad dudes out there. White House Press Secretary Sean Spicer defended the ban in Washington.
This focus on securing our borders and our homeland was obviously a major part of what the president campaigned on, and now he's doing exactly what he told the American people he would do. The president will always put the safety and prosperity of our country first and foremost.
Even the US Acting Attorney General Sally Yates, appointed by Barack Obama, has instructed Justice Department lawyers not to defend the ban while she remains in the job. US diplomats too are speaking out against the order. The BBC says hundreds of US diplomats around the world are set to criticise the ban in a so-called dissent cable for senior State Department officials. And now Los Angeles police are set to defy the ban, with LA's police chief Charlie Beck saying his force will ignore calls to detain undocumented immigrants for deportation. Overseas too, there's growing condemnation of Donald Trump's order. Iraq's parliament has approved retaliatory action to ban US citizens from entering Iraq. Thousands of people have joined protests in Britain, and a petition to block Donald Trump from visiting the UK now has 1.5 million signatures.
Anne Barker reporting.